Hello. Okay, let's go down the rabbit hole together. I have a spread before me. What I will say initially is that this reading is going to resonate with someone who is in their Queen of Wands energy. I received the Queen of Wands twice using two different decks. And this card, let's take note of the number 13. The number 13 is significant. We have number 13 here. You're going through a powerful transformation at this time. Your chakras are being aligned. So we have the Death card here, denoted by the number 13. Death and rebirth. And I notice this Queen of Wands in this deck, she looks like she's with child, but that makes me think, well, yes, you could literally be with child, or in this cycle of yours, this new cycle of yours, you may birth a child, but I'm thinking more symbolically. I'm looking at this Queen of Wands as a portal. She is a divine portal. And she is birthing her new self. Let's read from the guidebook in regards to the qualities of the Queen of Wands. Passionate, inspirational, warm, courageous, creative, magnetic, kind, commanding, adaptable, energetic, confident, strong-willed, extroverted, optimistic. As a person, this is someone who is hopeful and optimistic, follows her passions and supports others in following theirs. Queen of Wands people are warm, big-hearted, kind, and compassionate. They always make you feel at home and loved and cared for. And if they push you out of your comfort zone at times, it's only because they want you to succeed. In their shadow aspect, they may be pushy, emotionally explosive, have no patience with themselves or others, and struggle to express their needs and wants in positive ways. Empowering meanings. This is a positive and hopeful time. You have achieved so much, stood strong, and showed courage, and now you're being asked to show up in even bigger ways, leading, supporting, and inspiring others to do what you have done. You have the confidence and courage to do anything you set your mind to now. Keep following your dreams, forging out paths towards new ones, and inspiring all those around you in the process. You are a radiant light, and people love being in your presence. Now, I mentioned the Death card, number 13, and the Death card, using another deck, came out again. Using the Psychic Tarot, they call it Transformation, number 13. Let's read about the Death card. Change, transformation, thresholds, portals, portal. Endings and beginnings, doors closing and windows opening, natural cycles of life and time, moving into a new state of being. That's what's happening to you. Renewal, liberation, out with the old and in with the new. That is the energy that you're in right now. Out with the old, in with the new. You are your new empowered self. You may be in the in-between right now, at the 0 point, the point of infinite possibilities. Okay, continuing on with the Death card. Empowering meanings. This is a powerful time of change and transformation. Something is ending or needs to end so you can move into the next chapter of your life. This change may come in the form of something in your life, a job loss, the end of a relationship, or a house move, or it can be an inner change such as a shift in your energy, state of mind, or consciousness. That is the part that stood out to me. It's more of an internal change. An inner change such as a shift in your energy. Your energy centers are being stabilized at this time. State of mind or consciousness. Do not fear the loss or change. Trust that whatever is ending in your life will be replaced by something new. Cut away the dead wood of what's not working in your life. Let go of the past so you can move forward. Drawing death is a promise that there is always light at the end of what sometimes feels like a very dark tunnel. This card can also represent grief and the grieving process. Grieving for past over loved ones, things that didn't work out, dreams that were not fulfilled, or unlived lives. Give yourself permission to grieve and seek support if it's needed. Okay, so the other cards that came out, the Hierophant with the Four of Air, which is the Four of Swords. On the Four of Air card, it reads, time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. That part stood out to me there. Meditation may provide answers. For whoever this message is for, Spirit is preparing you to receive a divine download. So you need to be internally, energetically prepared to receive this download. And it makes me think that it's quite a significant download that will lead to many opportunities on this new timeline of yours. This has, I already mentioned, the number 13 may be significant. This message here, the spread before me, it has to do with ancient wisdom, sacred knowledge, divine communication. Therefore, Spirit wants you to be energetically prepared to receive this incoming download. You'll receive it in divine right timing. Because we have the Four of Air, which is the Four of Swords, advising you to rest. And using another deck, we got the same card, Four of Swords, rest and rejuvenate. And that made me ask, Spirit, why do we keep, in the readings that I've been doing, we receive the advice to rest. It is an energy and message that keeps turning up in multiple readings. So I just asked Spirit, why do we keep receiving this message? And these two cards fell out at the same time. Third Eye and Truth. This is the Judgment card. And that's why it made me think, okay, the conditions, your internal conditions need to be just right to be able to receive divine communication, a spiritual download. Okay, so let's look up the meaning of the number 13. Core meaning. The number 13 is a compound number that reduces to the root number 4. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Combining the energies of 1, new beginnings, independence, and 3, creativity, growth, which makes sense. Queen of Wands coming out. The energies of 1 and 3 with the stability and practicality of 4. Structure, foundation, yeah. We saw there's 4 of Wands here that came out in the spread. Stability is one of the meanings. Firm foundations. It represents change, transformation, and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities. People influenced by 13 are often encouraged to embrace new beginnings while maintaining a practical approach to achieving their goals. Spiritual and symbolic significance, transformation and rebirth. In tarot, 13 corresponds to the death card, symbolizing endings and new beginnings rather than literal death. Creativity and independence. 13 encourages self-expression, innovation, and the courage to act independently, which nicely describes the Queen of Wands. Karmic lessons. It is considered a karmic number, meaning misuse of its energy can lead to challenges, while proper use fosters growth and achievement. Cultural associations. While some cultures view 13 as unlucky, others see it as a symbol of cosmic balance, lunar cycles, and renewal. Okay. Now, to clarify the first death and rebirth card, Page of Water, which is the Page of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. So this made me think that on this new timeline of yours, this transformative timeline, you will be receiving help. You will not have to juggle alone on this path. So far, up to this point, you've definitely received help from your spirit team, from those in the spiritual realm, but you will also be receiving help in the physical as well, from at least one other like-minded soul, a member of your soul tribe. Now, in looking at this Page of Water card, I noticed, well, there are whales. Whales, one of their meanings, symbolisms, would be wisdom, and they're very ancient souls. And also I noticed the dolphin here. That may be a synchronicity for you. I know that I've been noticing a lot of dolphin synchronicities. So that's significant. So I looked up dolphins. Let's see here. And I found this website called soulfulcreature.com. And I didn't realize this until later, but the title of this blog post is called 13 Spiritual Meanings of Dolphins, Ancient Wisdom. The number 13 again. 13 Spiritual Meanings of Dolphins, Ancient Wisdom. So dolphins, like whales, are also ancient souls, but as I mentioned earlier, this message has something to do with sacred knowledge, ancient wisdom, divine communication. Preparing this Queen of Wands to receive ancient wisdom, divine communication. Okay, so let's read a little bit about dolphins. Dolphins have long embodied spiritual significance across cultures, serving as symbols of divine communication. Divine communication. Okay. joy, and protection. Their playful nature masks deeper meanings tied to harmony, inner guidance, and emotional healing, concepts that resonate in many spiritual traditions. Understanding these symbols reveals how dolphins connect us to ancient wisdom and universal energies. Exploring their spiritual meanings offers insight into how these creatures inspire balance, trust, and a deeper connection with the natural world. Yet, their symbolism may reveal even more profound truths. Dolphins as symbols of divine communication. Dolphins have long been seen as messengers that connect us to the divine. They stand as symbols of sacred communication, helping us understand messages from a higher power. Dolphins are special because they can send sounds and show behaviors that seem to share meaning. These signs remind us that we can get guidance from beyond our usual senses. When you see dolphins, it can mean that important messages are near, and that stood out to me. When you see dolphins, it can mean that important messages are near. So whoever this message is for, this is a message from Spirit to you to expect important messages. If you are also noticing dolphin synchronicities, it can mean that important messages are near. They encourage you to listen carefully and open your heart to divine signals. Dolphins also show us that messages from the universe can come from surprising places. By paying attention to dolphin symbols, you join a quiet tradition of spiritual talking. This helps you realize that sacred messages are always there if you're willing to listen. Okay, let's see. Dolphins are known as messengers of intuition and inner wisdom. They help you connect with deeper knowledge that goes beyond what your eyes see. In stories and legends, dolphins often act as guides, showing people how to find spiritual truths. And this is what I believe that you are meant to do as well. What you are being prepared for. To act as a guide, showing people how to find spiritual truths. And it's all dependent on whether they are ready or not, whether they are vibrationally ready. When they are ready, they will be sent to you. We are all messengers. We're not for everyone. We're not everyone's messenger, but whoever is meant to hear the message from you, they will be guided to you. Even if it's only to be triggered by your message, it will awaken something within them. Awaken something that's already within them. We cannot trigger someone if the seed is not already within them. If there's no seed of recognition within them already. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, the crystal skull, or the skull I should say, but it made me think of crystal skulls. And not coincidentally, last night I was reading a book. This one is called The Search for Hidden Sacred Knowledge by Dolores Cannon. And one of the chapters that I read was called Crystal Skulls. And look at this. When I noticed this in preparation for this video, I let out a gasp, because look at the chapter number, 13. So 13 is quite significant. Perhaps crystal skulls may be significant for you. Maybe you also are noticing synchronicities around crystal skulls. Now, let me read to you. I'm going to read to you a passage from this chapter, but I wanted to read to you, if you're not familiar with this book, The Search for Hidden Sacred Knowledge, I'll read to you the synopsis on the back of the book. Okay. The search is over. Many of us lived previous lives as keepers of sacred knowledge that was taught in the ancient mystery schools. That may resonate with you. You may have some resonance within you when you hear the term keepers of sacred knowledge. Let me start again. Many of us lived previous lives as keepers of sacred knowledge that was taught in the ancient mystery schools. Much of this knowledge was lost through time due to disasters and destruction or death. The knowledge was reserved for a select few who devoted their lives to understanding and teaching it. They usually had to live in isolated and secluded areas because the possession of such knowledge put their lives in danger. Now, reading that part, that makes me think, because there's one of the cards in the spread that came out, trapped in fear. That's the Ace of Swords. Also, Three of Swords, heartache and loss. To clarify that, Ten of Pentacles. And one of the meanings of the Ten of Pentacles is ancestral healing. That is something that you may be going through right now. Maybe you're emotional at times, and you might be confused as to why all of a sudden you're breaking into tears, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling anxious. Part of what you may be experiencing at this time may not be emotions gathered from this current lifetime. You may also be undergoing, processing ancestral wounds and traumas. 22:22 when I looked at the timer. And one of those traumas may be of having lived a past life, being in possession of sacred knowledge, and perhaps you lived in fear because those were dangerous times and many people were killed or persecuted for possessing such knowledge. Okay, let me continue. Many were killed for it, as those in power were usually afraid of anything they did not understand. Through the use of hypnosis and reincarnation, this book recounts many lives in which people had such knowledge and wisdom. Now is the time for this knowledge to return to anyone who is ready to receive and understand it. I'm going to repeat that last part. Now is the time for this knowledge to return to anyone who is ready to receive and understand it. Which touches on what I was saying earlier, how you are being prepared. This message is for someone who is being prepared to receive knowledge. But you need to be energetically ready to receive it, which is why there's such a strong message of you getting rest. To be in a state of rest, of receptivity. Okay. Now let's return to chapter 13 on crystal skulls. So Dolores is, she hypnotized someone, a client, and now the get into the topic of crystal skulls. Okay, so she asks the client, why were these objects made in the shapes of skulls? What is the significance? The client responds, in the human physical body, the head or the skull houses the brain, or, to put it in modern terms, the computer, the biological computer. It was a place to house the mental, the intellect, the knowledge, and a crystalline structure is very powerful in holding knowledge. So the significance of it being in the shape of a skull is that a human can associate skull with knowledge, with the mental, with the most important thing. People who are non-spiritual think everything comes from intellect, from knowledge, from the brain. And so that association with the brain and the crystal being that it would just store knowledge. The brain stores knowledge as a computer does on disk. Therefore, a crystal in the shape of a skull is very powerful to a human being. Also, let us say that a crystal skull, especially a clear quartz crystal, can store the knowledge of all universes. And for one to find the access is to be able to tune into, not the skull, but into the energy of the crystal, of the gem, of the stone. And Dolores asks next, there are many who have studied the crystal skulls and they think they relate to death and negativity. The client says, yes, there are many stories like that, and that is for a reason. There are those who are not prepared to use that information that can be stored in a crystal skull or any type of stone that's carved in the shape of a skull, as many might use that information in negative ways, in ways that would harm people. Therefore, there is an appropriateness in that being known as the skull of death or skull of doom, because the people that would look at it in that way might, had they the knowledge of how to use it in a way that would be harmful for people on the planet. So, as I said, you are being prepared, and part of that preparation was you probably went through lessons to demonstrate that you can be trusted with this knowledge, that you wouldn't misuse such knowledge and power to have such knowledge in your possession. That was part of the preparation as well, most likely. How you responded throughout your many lessons on your path to get to this point. Okay. Let's see. Okay, another card that came up here, 18, Shadow. This is the Moon card in the Tarot. We are really going down the rabbit hole. It's like we're putting the pieces together. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, following the breadcrumbs of synchronicities. Okay. And this is what stood out to me when I was reading about the Moon card. Let's see here. Okay, the Moon. Pay attention to your dreams as well as any signs and signals in the exterior world that resonate with you, and be patient as you seek clarity. Patience, being patient, yes, that is there is a strong emphasis on being patient at this time from Spirit. Patience, waiting for right divine timing. It may not yet be time to act, but closely examine your options and honor your intuition as you wait for further information. That's what's happening right now. You are waiting, you are resting, awaiting further information. As a side meaning, this card can indicate journeys, whether literal or internal. Some key words: dreams, visions, mystery, trusting intuition, look beyond surface appearances, epiphanies through intuition or divine communication. There's that word, divine communication. I think we read it earlier. I don't know where we saw it. Oh, it was probably in regards to the dolphins, right? Divine communication. Another breadcrumb. Epiphanies through intuition or divine communication. Okay. So this is a time to rest. In divine timing, you will be receiving an epiphany, a divine download, most likely in regards to ancient wisdom or sacred knowledge. And this will put you on the path or set you off, attracting multiple opportunities. You are likely, being the Queen of Wands, doing something creative. You're creating something. Yes, you will have multiple opportunities. This is the Seven of Cups. Choose wisely. But also, I did mention, you will potentially meet someone in the physical, a soulmate, who will offer support. You will be able to support each other on this transformative journey. It will be transformative for you and your soulmate or soulmates. We also have love begins. So it may be a romantic relationship, potentially starting off as friends and then evolving into a romantic relationship. Because to clarify, the Ace of Cups, love begins, was the Four of Wands. Stable, happy, harmonious home. Firm foundations. Celebrating with others. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. So, this is a time to rest. If you're getting impatient, that's understandable. Your human self is getting antsy. But your intuition, because you're likely very intuitive, your intuition knows that something big is coming, that you're waiting for something big. It could be life-changing. And this waiting period, this transitional period serves a purpose. You need to rest up, to get rejuvenated, to be energetically prepared to receive this download, this epiphany. Because it's going to be life-changing. Okay. I'm going to stop it there. Thank you so much. Take care.